and a very warm welcome to Fireside Fables. If you're seeking stories that weave tranquility into your night, guiding you gently towards a restful slumber, you found the right place. Here, we embark on journeys not just to distant lands and times, but into the heart of peace and calm itself. So, make yourself comfortable, let the day's worries melt away, and join me by the fireside. Together, we'll explore tales designed to soothe your mind, ease your soul, and escort you into the most peaceful sleep. Tonight, let the flickering flames and the soft cadence of our stories be your sanctuary. Welcome to Fireside Fables, where every tale is a step closer to a calm and serene slumber. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, casting a warm glow on the bustling port, Michael Sanders stood at the water's edge, his eyes fixed on the majestic cruise ship that would soon become his home for the next few weeks. At 52, Michael had recently retired from his corporate job, and the realization that he was finally free to pursue his lifelong dream of traveling the world had not yet fully sunk in. With a deep breath, Michael picked up his suitcase and made his way towards the ship, his heart fluttering with a mix of excitement and nervousness. As he approached the gangway, he couldn't help but marvel at the sheer size and elegance of the vessel before him. The ship's gleaming white exterior seemed to stretch on forever, punctuated by rows of balconies and windows that glinted in the early morning light. As Michael stepped onto the ship, he was immediately greeted by the friendly faces of the crew, their warm smiles and welcoming demeanor putting him at ease. A young man in a crisp uniform approached him, introducing himself as Liam, Michael's personal cabin steward for the duration of the voyage. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Sanders," Liam said, his voice filled with genuine warmth. "It's my pleasure to assist you throughout your journey. If there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to let me know." Michael thanked Liam and followed him through the ship's grand atrium, his eyes widening at the opulent decor that surrounded him. The atrium was a sight to behold, with its soaring ceilings, gleaming marble floors, and a magnificent crystal chandelier that cast a soft, shimmering light over the space. As they made their way to Michael's cabin, Liam pointed out the various amenities and facilities that the ship had to offer. There were countless restaurants and bars, each with its own unique theme and cuisine, as well as a state-of-the-art fitness center, a luxurious spa, and even a movie theater. When they reached Michael's cabin, he couldn't help but gasp at the sheer beauty and comfort of his accommodations. The room was spacious and elegantly appointed, with a plush king-sized bed, a separate living area, and a private balcony that overlooked the sea. Liam showed Michael around the cabin, demonstrating how to use the various amenities and features, from the flat-screen television to the well-stocked minibar. He also assured Michael that he would be available at any time, day or night, should he need anything during his stay. As Liam left the cabin, Michael took a moment to take in his surroundings, feeling a sense of peace and contentment wash over him. He stepped out onto the balcony, breathing in the salty sea air and watching as the port slowly disappeared from view, the ship gliding smoothly out into the open waters. For Michael, this voyage was more than just a vacation. It was a chance to rediscover himself, to find the peace and purpose that had eluded him for so long. As he stood there, watching the sun climb higher into the sky, he knew that he was embarking on a journey that would change his life in ways he could never have imagined. With a smile on his face and a sense of anticipation in his heart, Michael returned to his cabin, ready to unpack and explore the ship that would be his home for the next few weeks. He knew that the gentle voyage ahead would be filled with new experiences, unforgettable moments, and a chance to finally find the serenity he had been seeking for so long. As the sun rose over the horizon, painting the sky in a breathtaking array of oranges and pinks, Michael found himself on the balcony of his cabin, sipping a steaming cup of coffee and watching as the ship approached its first port of call. The island of St. Lucia, with its lush green mountains and pristine white beaches, seemed to rise out of the sea like a dream, beckoning him to explore its hidden wonders. After a leisurely breakfast in one of the ship's many dining rooms, Michael disembarked, eager to immerse himself in the vibrant culture and natural beauty of the island. The moment he stepped onto the pier, he was greeted by the warm, tropical air and the sound of calypso music floating on the breeze. With a map of the island in hand, Michael set off to explore the local markets, his senses overwhelmed by the riot of colors, sounds, and smells that surrounded him. He wandered through the narrow, winding streets, past vendors selling everything from hand-woven baskets to exotic spices, their friendly faces and lilting accents making him feel welcome and at ease. As the day wore on, Michael found himself drawn to a small, secluded beach, its crystal clear waters and soft white sand seeming to call out to him. He kicked off his shoes and made his way down to the water's edge, feeling the warm sand between his toes and the gentle breeze on his face. For a long while, Michael simply sat there, watching as the waves lapped at the shore and the seabirds wheeled overhead. He felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in longer than he could remember. As the sun began to dip towards the horizon, Michael reluctantly made his way back to the ship, his heart full of the beauty and warmth of the island. On the way, he stopped at a small, open-air cafe, where he struck up a conversation with an elderly woman named Sophia. Sophia, he learned, was a fellow passenger on the ship, a widow who had been traveling the world since her husband's passing. As they sipped their iced tea and watched the sun set over the water, Sophia regaled Michael with stories of her adventures, her eyes twinkling with mischief and her laughter infectious. By the time they parted ways, Michael felt as though he had known Sophia for years, her kindness and wisdom touching something deep within him. He returned to the ship that evening with a renewed sense of purpose, a feeling that this voyage was more than just a chance to see the world. It was an opportunity to connect with others, to learn from their experiences, and to grow in ways he never thought possible. As he settled into his cabin that night, Michael reflected on the events of the day, from the bustling markets to the tranquil beach to his chance encounter with Sophia. He realized that each moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, had the power to shape his journey in profound and unexpected ways. With a smile on his face and a sense of excitement for the adventures to come, Michael drifted off to sleep. The gentle rocking of the ship and the soft sound of the waves lulling him into a peaceful slumber. He knew that the voyage ahead would be filled with countless more moments like these, each one a stepping stone on his path to self-discovery and inner peace. As the ship sailed away from the picturesque shores of St. Lucia, Michael found himself settling into the gentle rhythm of life at sea. The days stretched out before him like a blank canvas, each one filled with endless possibilities for relaxation, reflection, and personal growth. Michael would begin each morning with a quiet meditation on his balcony, watching as the sun rose over the horizon and the vast expanse of the ocean came to life. He marveled at the way the light danced across the waves, casting a shimmering glow that seemed to stretch on forever. After a hearty breakfast in one of the ship's many dining rooms, Michael would make his way to the top deck, where he would spend hours walking the length of the ship, taking in the fresh sea air and the breathtaking views of the open water. He found a sense of peace in the solitude of these moments, a chance to clear his mind and focus on the present. Some days, Michael would seek out the company of his fellow passengers, joining them for games of shuffleboard or impromptu musical performances in one of the ship's lounges. He was struck by the diversity of the people he met, each one with their own unique story and perspective on life. There was Tom, a retired firefighter from New York who had spent his life in service to others and now found himself on a journey of self-discovery. And then there was Maggie, a young artist from London who had boarded the ship in search of inspiration for her next project. As the days passed, Michael found himself drawn to the ship's library, a cozy space filled with plush armchairs and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. He would spend hours there, lost in the pages of a novel or poring over travel guides for the exotic ports of call that lay ahead. It was in the library that Michael first met Elizabeth, a retired English professor with a passion for poetry and a wicked sense of humor. The two would often sit together in the evenings, sipping tea and discussing their favorite books, their laughter echoing through the quiet space. As the ship made its way across the open water, Michael also found himself drawn to the many activities and workshops offered on board. He tried his hand at watercolor painting in the ship's art studio, his clumsy first attempts giving way to a newfound appreciation for the beauty of the creative process. He also attended lectures on topics ranging from the history of the Caribbean to the science of celestial navigation, his mind expanding with each new piece of knowledge. Michael was amazed at the way the ship had become a floating university of sorts, a place where he could learn and grow in ways he never thought possible. In the evenings, Michael would often find himself on the top deck, watching as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to appear in the inky black sky. He marveled at the way the ship seemed to glide through the darkness, the only light coming from the twinkling stars above and the soft glow of the ship's windows. It was in these quiet moments that Michael felt a sense of profound gratitude wash over him. He was grateful for the opportunity to embark on this journey, for the chance to step outside of his comfort zone and experience the world in a new way. As he gazed out at the vast expanse of the ocean, Michael knew that the voyage was changing him in ways he could never have imagined. With each passing day, he felt a sense of clarity and purpose that had eluded him for so long. And so, as the ship sailed on through the gentle waters, Michael embraced the journey ahead, knowing that each moment, each encounter, and each new experience would shape him in profound and beautiful ways. He was ready to see where the voyage would take him next and to discover the person he was meant to become. As the gentle voyage continued, Michael found himself settling into a comfortable routine, his days filled with a perfect balance of solitude and social interaction. He would often spend his mornings exploring the ship's many amenities, from the state-of-the-art fitness center to the luxurious spa, where he would treat himself to a relaxing massage or a rejuvenating facial. One particularly sunny afternoon, Michael found himself in the ship's art gallery, admiring the works of local artists that had been collected from the various ports of call. As he stood before a stunning painting of a tropical sunset, he felt a presence beside him and turned to see a young woman with fiery red hair and a bright, infectious smile. "Beautiful, isn't it?" she said, gesturing to the painting. "I'm Lily, by the way. I've seen you around the ship, but I don't think we've had the chance to meet yet." Michael introduced himself, and the two struck up an easy conversation, bonding over their shared love of art and their mutual appreciation for the beauty of the Caribbean. As they chatted, Michael learned that Lily was a talented artist herself, a painter who had boarded the ship in search of inspiration for her next series of works. Over the next few days, Michael and Lily found themselves spending more and more time together, exploring the ship's many hidden nooks and crannies and sharing stories of their lives back home. Michael was drawn to Lily's free-spirited nature and her infectious enthusiasm for life, while Lily admired Michael's calm, steady presence and his wealth of knowledge and experience. One evening, as the ship sailed through a particularly beautiful stretch of the Caribbean, Lily invited Michael to join her on the top deck for a painting session. As the sun began to set, the two set up their easels and canvases, working side by side to capture the stunning colors of the sky and the gentle motion of the waves. As they painted, Michael and Lily continued to talk and laugh, their conversation flowing easily from one topic to the next. Michael found himself opening up to Lily in a way he hadn't with anyone in a long time, sharing his hopes and fears, his triumphs and his regrets. Lily, in turn, shared her own story, telling Michael about her childhood in a small town in Georgia, her early love of art, and her decision to leave everything behind and pursue her passion. She spoke of the challenges she had faced along the way, the doubts and the setbacks, but also of the incredible sense of freedom and purpose she had found in her work. As the night wore on and the stars began to appear in the sky, Michael and Lily found themselves lost in the moment, their brushes moving almost of their own accord across the canvases. When they finally stepped back to admire their work, they were both stunned by the beauty of what they had created. In that moment, Michael realized that his friendship with Lily was one of the most unexpected and precious gifts of the voyage. He had boarded the ship in search of peace and solitude, but he had found so much more: a kindred spirit, a true friend, and a reminder of the beauty and joy that could be found in even the most unlikely of places. As the ship sailed on through the night, Michael and Lily made their way back to their cabins, their hearts full of gratitude and their minds buzzing with ideas for their next painting session. Michael knew that he would cherish this memory forever, a shining example of the incredible things that could happen when he opened himself up to the world and the people around him. And so, as he drifted off to sleep that night, Michael felt a sense of profound contentment wash over him. He knew that the voyage was far from over, and that there were still many more adventures and surprises in store. But he also knew that, no matter what lay ahead, he would always have the love and support of the incredible people he had met along the way, and the courage to embrace whatever the journey might bring. As the ship sailed further into the Caribbean, the weather began to take a turn for the worse. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, and the once gentle breeze picked up speed, whipping the waves into a frothy frenzy. The captain made an announcement over the intercom, urging passengers to stay indoors and prepare for rough seas ahead. Michael, who had always found solace in the power and beauty of nature, felt a strange sense of exhilaration as the storm approached. He made his way to the ship's observation deck, where he found a small group of passengers gathered to watch the spectacle unfold. As the rain began to fall and the wind howled around them, Michael felt a sense of awe wash over him. He watched as lightning split the sky and thunder boomed in the distance, the ship rocking and swaying beneath his feet. Beside him, a man named Jack, whom Michael had met briefly in the ship's casino a few nights before, let out a low whistle. "I've been through my fair share of storms at sea," he said, "but this one looks like it might be a doozy." Michael nodded, his eyes fixed on the churning waves. "There's something about the raw power of nature that just takes my breath away," he said. "It reminds me of how small and insignificant we really are in the grand scheme of things." Jack chuckled. "I guess that's one way to look at it," he said. "Personally, I just hope the captain knows what he's doing. I'd hate to end up at the bottom of the ocean." As the storm raged on, Michael and Jack found themselves engrossed in conversation, swapping stories of their adventures at sea and their hopes for the future. Despite the chaos raging around them, Michael felt a sense of calm and connection wash over him, a feeling that he was exactly where he was meant to be. Eventually, the captain made another announcement, urging all passengers to return to their cabins until the storm had passed. Michael and Jack made their way back inside, the wind and rain lashing at their faces as they went. Back in his cabin, Michael found himself pacing restlessly, his mind racing with thoughts of the storm and the incredible power of the natural world. He thought of Lily and the other friends he had made on the voyage, wondering how they were faring in the face of the tempest. As the hours ticked by and the storm showed no signs of abating, Michael found himself drawn to his notebook, the one he had been carrying with him since the beginning of the voyage. He began to write, pouring his thoughts and feelings onto the page, the words flowing from his pen almost of their own accord. He wrote about the storm and the incredible sense of awe and humility it had inspired in him. He wrote about the people he had met on the voyage, the incredible stories they had shared, and the bonds they had formed. And he wrote about himself, about the man he had been before the voyage, and the man he hoped to become. As the storm finally began to subside, and the ship emerged from the clouds, Michael felt a sense of profound gratitude wash over him. He knew that the voyage had been more than just a journey across the sea. It had been a journey of self-discovery, a chance to confront his fears and doubts and emerge stronger and more confident on the other side. And so, as the sun began to peek through the clouds and the ship sailed on towards its next destination, Michael closed his notebook and stepped out onto the balcony, taking a deep breath of the fresh, salty air. He knew that the storm had been a test, a challenge to be overcome, but he also knew that it had brought him closer to the man he was meant to be. With a smile on his face and a renewed sense of purpose in his heart, Michael looked out at the vast expanse of the ocean, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The voyage was far from over, but he knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be, surrounded by the people he loved and the incredible beauty of the world around him. As the ship sailed on through the calm waters of the Caribbean, Michael found himself increasingly drawn to the beauty of the night sky. He would often find himself on the top deck long after most of the other passengers had retired to their cabins, gazing up at the stars and marveling at the sheer vastness of the universe. One particularly clear evening, Michael made his way to the ship's observatory, where a small group of passengers had gathered for a night of stargazing. As he settled into one of the comfortable chairs and looked up at the domed ceiling, he felt a sense of peace and wonder wash over him. The astronomer leading the session, a kind-faced woman named Dr. Evelyn Hawkins, began to speak, her voice soft and soothing in the stillness of the room. She told stories of the ancient myths and legends associated with the stars, pointing out the constellations and explaining the science behind their formation. As Dr. Hawkins spoke, Michael found himself lost in the beauty of the night sky, his mind wandering to the incredible mysteries of the universe. He thought of the countless civilizations that had come before, the people who had looked up at the same stars and wondered at their meaning and purpose. Beside him, a woman named Sarah leaned over and whispered, "It's incredible, isn't it? To think that we're just a tiny speck in the grand scheme of things." Michael nodded, his eyes fixed on the glittering expanse above them. "It really puts things in perspective," he said. "All of our worries and fears, all of the things that seem so important in the moment, they all pale in comparison to the beauty and wonder of the universe." As the session continued, Michael found himself deeply moved by the stories and insights shared by Dr. Hawkins and his fellow passengers. He thought of the incredible journey he had undertaken, the people he had met, and the experiences he had had, and he felt a sense of profound gratitude wash over him. When the session finally came to an end and the passengers began to make their way back to their cabins, Michael found himself lingering in the observatory, reluctant to leave the peace and beauty of the night sky behind. As he sat there, lost in thought, he heard a soft voice beside him. "Beautiful, isn't it?" It was Dr. Hawkins, her eyes twinkling in the dim light of the room. Michael nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "It really is," he said. "I feel like I could stay here forever, just watching the stars and thinking about the mysteries of the universe." Dr. Hawkins chuckled. "I know what you mean," she said. "There's something about the night sky that just speaks to the soul. It reminds us of our place in the grand scheme of things and of the incredible beauty and wonder that surrounds us every day." As Michael made his way back to his cabin that night, he found himself feeling a sense of deep connection to the world around him. He thought of the stars and the stories they held, of the people he had met, and the bonds they had formed, and he felt a sense of profound peace wash over him. He knew that the voyage was more than just a journey across the sea. It was a journey of the heart and the soul, a chance to connect with the world and the people around him in ways he never thought possible. And so, as he drifted off to sleep that night, Michael felt a sense of deep contentment wash over him. He knew that, no matter what lay ahead, he would always have the beauty of the night sky to guide him, and the love and support of the incredible people he had met along the way. The voyage was far from over, but Michael knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be, surrounded by the wonders of the world and the incredible beauty of the human spirit. As the Gentle Voyage continued, Michael found himself increasingly drawn to the ship's bridge, fascinated by the intricate workings of the vessel and the skill and expertise of the crew. He would often spend hours there, watching the officers navigate the ship through the vast expanse of the ocean, marveling at their calm and competence in the face of the unpredictable sea. One morning, as Michael made his way to the bridge for his daily visit, he was surprised to find the captain himself standing at the helm, his weathered face creased in concentration as he guided the ship through a particularly tricky stretch of water. As Michael approached, the captain turned to him with a warm smile. "Ah, Michael," he said, his voice deep and resonant. "I was hoping you might stop by. I've been wanting to have a chat with you." Michael, surprised and flattered by the captain's attention, took a seat beside him, his eyes fixed on the endless blue of the ocean stretching out before them. For a long moment, the two men sat in silence, the only sound the gentle hum of the ship's engines and the distant cry of seabirds. Then, the captain began to speak, his voice low and thoughtful. "You know, Michael," he said, "I've been sailing these waters for more than 30 years now, and in all that time, I've learned a thing or two about the sea and about life." Michael leaned forward, eager to hear more. "What do you mean?" he asked. The captain smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Well," he said, "the sea is a lot like life, in a way. It's vast and unpredictable, full of hidden depths and unexpected challenges, but it's also incredibly beautiful and full of wonder and possibility." He paused for a moment, his gaze drifting out over the water. "The key," he said, "is to learn to navigate the choppy waters, to stay calm and focused in the face of adversity, and to always keep your eye on the horizon." Michael nodded, his mind whirling with the implications of the captain's words. He thought of his own life, of the challenges and obstacles he had faced, and of the incredible journey he had undertaken. "I think I understand," he said slowly. "It's about staying true to yourself, isn't it? About holding on to your dreams and your values, even when the going gets tough." The captain nodded, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Exactly," he said. "And it's about surrounding yourself with people who share those values, who can help you weather the storms and celebrate the victories." For a long moment, the two men sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Then, the captain spoke again, his voice soft and sincere. "You know, Michael," he said, "I've been watching you on this voyage, and I have to say, I'm impressed. You have a rare gift, a kind of quiet strength and resilience that's hard to come by. Don't ever lose that, no matter what life throws your way." Michael felt a lump form in his throat, touched by the captain's words. He knew that the voyage had changed him in ways he was only beginning to understand, and he felt a deep sense of gratitude for the incredible people he had met along the way. As the two men sat there, watching the sun dip lower in the sky and the ship chart its course through the vast expanse of the ocean, Michael felt a sense of deep peace wash over him. He knew that the journey was far from over, and that there would be many more challenges and obstacles to come. But he also knew that he had the strength and the wisdom to face whatever lay ahead, and that he would always have the love and support of the incredible people he had met along the way. And so, as the ship sailed on towards the horizon, Michael closed his eyes and breathed deeply, feeling the salt air fill his lungs and the gentle rocking of the waves soothe his soul. He knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be, and that the voyage of a lifetime was only just beginning. As the ship approached its final destination, Michael found himself filled with a bittersweet mix of emotions. On one hand, he was excited to see what new adventures and experiences the last port of call would bring. On the other hand, he couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness at the thought of the voyage coming to an end. Over the past few weeks, the ship had become more than just a means of transportation. It had become a home, a sanctuary, and a place of incredible growth and self-discovery. Michael had formed deep and meaningful connections with his fellow passengers, and the thought of saying goodbye was almost too much to bear. As the ship docked in the bustling port city of San Juan, Puerto Rico, Michael made his way down to the gangway, his heart heavy with the weight of his impending departure. He stepped out into the bright Caribbean sun, blinking in the sudden light, and found himself surrounded by the sights and sounds of the vibrant city. For a moment, Michael simply stood there, taking it all in: the colorful buildings, the lively music, the delicious smells wafting from the street vendors. Then, with a deep breath, he set off to explore the city, determined to make the most of his final day on shore. As he wandered through the narrow streets and bustling plazas, Michael found himself drawn to the rich history and culture of the city. He visited ancient fortresses and grand cathedrals, marveling at the incredible craftsmanship and artistry of the builders and architects. He sampled delicious local cuisine, from spicy empanadas to cool, refreshing piña coladas, and chatted with friendly locals who welcomed him with open arms and warm smiles. As the day wore on, and the sun began to dip lower in the sky, Michael made his way back to the ship, his heart full of the incredible experiences and memories he had made. He knew that the voyage was coming to an end, but he also knew that the lessons and insights he had gained would stay with him forever. Back on board, Michael made his way to the ship's grand ballroom, where a special farewell dinner had been arranged for the passengers. As he entered the room, he was struck by the incredible beauty of the space, the glittering chandeliers, the elegant place settings, the soft strains of music floating through the air. He made his way to his table, where he was greeted by the smiling faces of his fellow passengers, Lily, Jack, Sarah, and all the others who had become such an important part of his journey. They raised their glasses in a toast, their voices mingling together in a joyful chorus. As the dinner went on and the conversations flowed, Michael found himself reflecting on the incredible journey he had undertaken. He thought of the storms he had weathered, both literal and figurative, and the incredible strength and resilience he had discovered within himself. He thought of the wisdom and insight he had gained from the captain and his fellow passengers, and the deep and meaningful connections he had formed with people from all walks of life. And he thought of the incredible beauty and wonder of the world around him, from the vast expanse of the ocean to the twinkling stars in the night sky. As the evening drew to a close and the passengers began to say their final goodbyes, Michael felt a sense of deep gratitude wash over him. He knew that the voyage had been more than just a trip. It had been a transformative experience, a journey of the heart and the soul. And so, As he made his way back to his cabin for the final night on board, Michael felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over him. He knew that the journey was coming to an end, but he also knew that the memories and the lessons he had learned would stay with him forever. The Gentle Voyage had been a gift, a chance to connect with the world and the people around him in ways he never thought possible. And as he drifted off to sleep that night, Michael knew that he would always cherish the incredible experiences and the unforgettable moments he had shared along the way. Thank you for allowing Fireside Fables to be a part of your journey tonight. We hope our story has gently guided you to the gates of dreamland, wrapping you in the comfort of tales told by the fireside's warm glow. For those of you who might still be seeking the embrace of sleep, stay with us a little longer. A calm, meditative piece will follow shortly, designed to ease you into a restful slumber under the watchful care of the night's peaceful embrace. Remember, the path to dreamland is always here, lit by the soft light of our fireside tales. May you find tranquility, peace, and the sweetest of dreams. Until next time, good night, and let the gentle rhythm of the night cradle you to sleep. Close your eyes and settle into a comfortable position. Whether you're lying down or seated, allow your body to relax completely. Take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with air, and then gently exhale, releasing all the tension from your body. This meditation will guide you into a deep, restful sleep. As you follow along, let my words be the gentle waves that guide you into the peaceful embrace of slumber. Begin by focusing on your breath. Feel the natural rhythm of your inhale and exhale. With every breath, imagine a wave of relaxation sweeping over your body. Starting from the top of your head, let this wave of calm flow down to your toes, relaxing each part of your body one by one. Now, bring your attention to your mind. Visualize your thoughts like leaves floating on a gentle stream, drifting further away with each breath. There's nothing for you to do right now, nowhere you need to be, except right here in this moment of peace. As your body sinks deeper into relaxation, imagine a soft, warm light enveloping you. This light brings with it a deep sense of calm, filling every corner of your being. With each breath, this light grows brighter, your body feeling lighter. It's now time to let go completely. Your serene place is here to cradle you into deep sleep. With every breath, feel yourself drifting further into this haven of peace. You are safe, you are loved, and you are embraced by the gentle arms of sleep. As my voice fades away, let the calmness and peace you feel guide you into a deep, restful sleep. Your body knows what it needs, and it's time to surrender to the soothing rhythm of your breath, to the quiet of your mind, and to the warmth of your peaceful place. Release all hold on consciousness and allow yourself to sink into the depths of sleep. Here, in this space, healing and rejuvenation happen effortlessly. Let go and let sleep envelop you in its comforting embrace.